You know, in the book of John, chapter 7, beginning around the 11th verse, it appears that Jesus was so fully aware that the hour of his crucifixion was quickly approaching. And so he took this time to pause and to pray for his disciples as he prepared to take his fateful journey into the Garden of Gethsemane. And he said in the 11th verse, he says, "Holy Father, protect them by the power of your name, the name you gave me, so that they may be one as we are one." And Jesus didn't pray that they would just have the outward appearance of unity by looking the same, talking the same, dressing the same, acting the same. Rather, he prayed that they would be one in the Spirit, just as he and his Father were one. And then in the 20th verse, he lifted this prayer even higher when he cried out in behalf of all the future generations of believers. And that prayer comes right down to you and me today. He said, "My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one. Father, just as you are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one." You know, it's a sad commentary when we recognize that in the 21st century, we are still living in a nation and a world that is divided. We are not one. Because whenever we persist in hiding behind our walls of insecurity and insensitivity and ignorance, we fail to realize that not only are lives being lost to violence and hatred and drug addiction and war, but souls are being lost when we hide behind the walls of our churches rather than confront the fears outside that are born of our perceived differences. The Lord never intended for the church to be identified by the great walled cathedrals or the temples or the complexes that we have built. We cannot remain neutral, because there is no place for bias or prejudice or discrimination at the foot of the cross. Because the Bible tells me that Jesus came to die for all of us. And when we create divisions based on race or culture or social status, we devalue the cross by failing to be a reflection of God's unconditional love. You know, the Apostle Paul revealed in Acts 17 and 26 that God is the creator and the giver of life. And regardless of how we appear on the outside, God has made all of us of one blood. And that doesn't mean that we all should have the same type of blood. All right. What it means is that under our skin, we are all just human beings. Yes. You know, it's amazing because only an all-powerful, all-knowing God could make us look so different on the outside and then make us all the same on the inside. But you know, we got a tendency to want to limit the presence and purpose of God to our denomination or to our culture. But Paul challenges us in this same little verse to see God more globally. He states that God not only made from one blood every nation of men, but he made them to dwell on all the face of the earth. And that means that it goes from Africa to Asia to Alaska, from Rwanda to Romania to Rhode Island, from South America to North America, from Mississippi to Mongolia to Montana, from the islands of the Caribbean to the islands of the Pacific to the sea islands of South Carolina. God did it all. And not so that we could live on the earth separated by fear and hatred and ignorance and discrimination and selfishness, but he did it so that all over the world mankind would be compelled to seek God and then discover amazingly that wherever they are, God is right there with them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes. The time has passed for us to condemn those that God has already forgiven. Say that. Amen. It's time for us to stop rejecting those that God has accepted. Because when he said everyone who believes, that's right. Everyone who believes, it meant tall, short, fat, skinny, blue-eyed, brown-eyed, green-eyed, long hair, short hair, kinky hair, straight hair, blonde hair, black hair, weave hair. All right. Get it all in there. Get it all in there. That's right. Even no hair. Blue black. Cocoa brown. That's right. High yellow. Lily white. And everything in between. Cityfied. Countrified. Uptown. Downtown. Rich. Poor. Overeducated. Undereducated, been up, been down, been leveled to the ground, seen it all, said it all, done it all. Well, regardless of who you are, where you've been, or what you've done, God told me to tell you, welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family.